I'm uploading this video as part 1 to precede the second part on the topic of this amplifier, the SONY amplifier. And it will make sense in a moment why I decided to upload this part before, although it is being recorded after the previous video, to walk along a couple of things that I'm touching on the second video. And that is a reminder that this channel is all about encouraging people that, like me, like hi-fi from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, to buy secondhand some of that hi-fi and repair it themselves, even if they don't know about electronics. As long as the devices still work fine or almost fine, it might be worth to just buy it very cheap for knockout prices. Even as you get more expertise, you might identify some products that are being sold in second-hand portals that might have issues that the seller describes, but that you will win confidence that just changing the capacitors will fix. But well, generally speaking, I would say this channel is about encouraging you that even if you don't know about electronics, repairing hi-fi from that era can be very, very easy and very simple to do. You will need to learn a couple of things, and that is to get some soldering skills and how to buy the capacitors, replacement capacitors. Identify that you have to measure the diameter, that you have to measure, obviously look at the capacitance from the capacitor, and also look at the voltage. Always put the same voltage or higher, then you're on the safe side. Quite often in the manufacturing of these devices, they have put higher voltage capacitors just because the manufacturing had them at the moment at hand, and they put them higher. So that might put you in a spin where you put even higher voltages than really needed. Can be occasionally an issue, but generally speaking, I've been told by a friend that is in electronics that in hi-fi, in most areas of the board, you can just put a higher voltage, it will be fine. Sometimes you can even put a higher capacitance and you will be still fine. But well, I normally, and still today, it is possible in websites like DigiKey, Mouser, and there are other websites. You can still find a lot of the different capacitor types that you might need repairing that hi-fi. So coming back to this amplifier then, in the second video, I was telling that it will possibly not work because I made a mistake with these two capacitors here. Well, with one of the two. And that was because, and that is another part that I want to touch on this video, take pictures. Grab your camera and take pictures of the board. Take pictures because not every brand indicates very clearly where is the minus side. Here you can see the minus side of the capacitor. And well, if there was better light, here you can see the white strip. So here we have the minus side of that capacitor. And I don't know if you can see it, but here it is on this side, the minus. Generally speaking, they put like a dot or some other symbol in the place where the capacitor has to go. Yeah, you might not see it very clearly here, but there is another dot on that side. And it's just a desoldering, probably desoldering. I would say desoldering might be harder than learning to solder. Because while you are desoldering, if you don't do it quickly enough, you might cause damage to the circuit board because you heat it up too much. So that is why, and as I mentioned in the second video, buy cheap second hi-fi, even if it is not great hi-fi, and just replace all the capacitors just to rehearse, just to practice, and just to get the feeling for what is the task here. And if you buy a very cheap hi-fi, like this one here, this is one that I got as a present from a friend, but the argument is still valid. If I had bought this is a great device because it gave small problems. This is the loudness, and this is the direct that bypasses the bass treble and balance circuit. They were very scratchy, probably because they are cheap. This is one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest, amplifier that Sony had at the time. So yeah, they were scratchy. I hope that after applying deoxide, a very popular cleaning solution with a bit of lubrication, yeah, normally they fix those buttons, these connections. Also, all these potentiometers, as you see here for the bass, treble, etc., they were all very stuck and gluey, and thanks to deoxide, they run better now. Well, so back to the topic. The other thing that I wanted to say is, so I made a mistake, I didn't make pictures of the circuit board, and I didn't make a schematic myself. Because normally I make the schematics myself. I grab the board, look at the capacitors, make a drawing on a paper, and annotate where is the minus, what is the capacitance voltage. Sometimes I also take a measurement of the diameter to know how much space I have in case I have to put a bigger one. And so that by looking at my own drawing, I know what capacitor type has to be replaced in every place. But I was a bit lazy this time. This is an amplifier that I don't have interest or much interest into because it's really a bad amplifier. But I hadn't been soldering in a long time and I wanted to practice. And when I looked at these two capacitors, because they were very small, it was very hard to see the characteristics. And I assumed that they were both the same type. So when I finally saw the specifications of one, I replaced them both with the same type. So I had here, in this case, I was replacing that specification with, yeah, actually that is from automotive. That is an automotive capacitor. That is not an audio capacitor, but it's not relevant. This is for the controller chip. So you don't need an audio quality capacitor in that place. You might need audio quality capacitors in this area because this is where you have a bit of audio, although still you see there are only one each. I'm guessing here that one is the treble and the other is the bass, what I suspect. Again, like I said, I don't know much about electronics, but I know how to replace capacitors. So when you see only one capacitor, quite often it does mean that the sound is not traveling through that capacitor. It is not in the signal. So you can normally replace them with general purpose capacitors. If you use DigiKey, you will see that they classify capacitors in general appliance, automotive. Automotive tend to be more rugged, resistant to heat, and yeah, all the impact from being in a car. But yeah, so I made that mistake. I forgot, or I changed them both with the same type. I built the amplifier, it was not working. Why? Well, I was using AI to formulate the question because one of the capacitors, I changed them both with only 0.1 microfarad. Probably the chip was not getting enough current for the boot up. With the chip, I mean probably this is the one. This is probably a controller chip. I don't see any other chip in this board, so that must be it. And so because it is not getting sufficient current, the chip is not working. LEDs had stopped working. And because I didn't take pictures, I didn't make a drawing, I didn't know which one was the one that was wrong. And yeah, when I identified that it was not working, I decided to go to internet, find the schematic. And as you see, you will always have here, like you see here, C809, C808. So it is telling you that in that position goes a capacitor. And in the schematic, there will be probably a table that says what specification that capacitor had. So I went to internet, downloaded the diagram, the schematic, had a look in the table, looked at the position, and that helped me find which one had to be actually from 1 microfarad. And how did I know that it was a 1 microfarad? Because when I removed the capacitors, I put them here on this mat, And I was checking, double checking. I double check, triple check, 4 times check that I'm replacing the right capacitor with the right specification. And in my math, I was expecting 2 capacitors of 0.1 microfarad, but there was only one and another one of 1 microfarad. So it was obvious that I had replaced wrongly one of the two, but I didn't know which one I had done wrong. And there is where the diagram, the original schematic from Sony, came at hand. So I suspect that when I build this amplifier again, it will all be working, and okie dokie to use this amplifier again. We will see.